I think the question is why? Why is it important? I think you've alluded to a few things like...
Yeah, I've got a few facts as well.
Yeah. I think for me, anyway, the reason I primarily support black businesses is to level the playing field.
Okay.
Because we need to build generational wealth. I think that's so important. We're still so behind. And like you said, like the money, I feel like money is going into the black ecosystem, but
it's not being kept there.
It's not being kept there. And it's just like, cool, we're spending this money. What can we do that's different? Because I feel like supporting is the first step. But I feel like if I make my little effect by supporting these black businesses, hopefully we get some more assets. Like you mentioned socio-economic, like better quality of living for black people.
Better quality of living, we can then plan with our kids as well, because now our kids have role models to look up to. There's initiatives that we're doing within the community that brings the community together. We're closing the wealth gap. You know, our spending habits, you got to look at the spending habits between black people. That's a problem in itself. If you have a prestige product that demands, I don't know, £500, £600 per product here, how comfortable are we as a people to go out and say, I want to spend £600 on this year, if that's not what we do? So it's stuff like that that we need to change. And by supporting black business, I genuinely believe that changes. Quality of life, like you alluded to, changes. But we also have questions for business owners. Like, what are you actively doing within your community? You don't, this is where I kind of agree with what you said at the start in terms of like, you're not just going to get support because you're a black guy. I feel like you should, but there should be something there saying, but in return, a bit like a contract.
Provide some value, like.
Provide something back,
yeah.
Apart from the product, you know? Like, if we're going to go off that, then let's do that and say, cool, I'm going to provide this for the community. I'm going to do this when it comes to Black History Month. I'm going to educate more people. I'm going to take X amount of people a year on work experience and do some mentorship programs and stuff like that. Things that cost you nothing but time, you know? So I think those are sort of questions as well that we need to sort of answer.
Perhaps, before we go to you, Daps, like people who own black businesses aren't thinking about how they're going to give back. Perhaps they're just focusing on themselves, which everyone does, rightly so.
I don't think you can if you own a business, though. The client base is the most important.
If you own a business, you're thinking about paying your bills, making sure your business is successful going forward. You're not thinking, oh, how do I give back?
Do you totally agree with that?
That's a secondary objective.
No, I think it depends. I think it depends on the values of your business, you know?
Yeah.
Because for us, we're a business, we're a business, but then we've got social benefits to our business. So I think definitely when you go into it, you should, if that's what you are trying to do, you should have those things in mind about how you're going to support the community, etc. And obviously, if you've got a business and you know how hard it was for you to start, you should be thinking about the future generations and the people that are after you. So
climbing and lifting as you're going on. Climbing and lifting, even from like a selfish perspective where it's talking about clients and maintaining or growing your client base, bro, like referrals are a way of garnering new clients, and you want to ensure that person's experience is positive for them to be able to talk about it. So absolutely, you got to think about the people, I think, anyway, because that's how word of mouth is the best sort of marketing tool.
And you know what I read in the Black Pound report in 2022, in our community the most, word of mouth is number one. So once black people find a product or service that is works. Good, they're very quick to share it with others.
This is it.
So we need to use that as a benefit.
And you're actively doing that because you've had younger black men that are, trying to get into the field that you're trying to get into, that you've kind of helped and stuff like that. Same here in the sense where young people that are trying to get into the events industry, which is there isn't a lot of black people in the events industry in the UK, B2B, for example. So, there's been young black people that are in university, arts for internships, arts for opportunities, where of course you're going to try and pass it forward and stuff like that. So I think it's important, like that point is important that you mentioned.
Yeah, I feel like I have done it, but then as Sills was alluding to, I haven't, I haven't been proactive in thinking, how can I do more? I haven't got it documented down anywhere. So I think that's a challenge for myself in that sense, because it's easy for things to get lost, but it's important. This conversation is about the importance of it, because we have to look after ourselves.
I get that, but just for the sake of the conversation, just my mental health right now. Is anyone sort of against supporting black businesses, or is there a caveat that we're putting next to supporting black businesses?
No, I'm not against it. Like I said, I've got that conviction for myself because I understand the benefit of it and I understand the bigger picture. I think the issue is when you expect other people to do it. I don't think you should expect it, because I think if you go into it thinking like that, then you're looking to get yourself hurt.
If you go into there thinking,
if you go into a
that's
business
the
thinking,
sole way for
yeah,
you
if
to
you go into your
increase
business
sales.
thinking black people are going to support me, bro, like I don't
I think,
advise that.
You're misguided.
I don't advise
if
that.
you have that point of view.
You know, people will support you naturally, you know, hopefully.
Do you
But
think
you don't
so?
want to go into it thinking, people are going to support me
Just because you're black.
just because you're black.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I feel like naturally your nearest and dearest will support you, just generally speaking. But when you're on a come up,
Yeah, but even that, bro, how many people do you know that do music?
that's a great example.
Why is that
There's a
great?
lot of people that do music that I know of,
Right.
and I'm not a fan of their music. Well, I'm not aligned to the music they're producing, but I'll still support. But
Exactly.
No, so if they ask you to share something and you're not, are you going to share?
I'll share. I'll always share. Will you share?
Huh?
Will you share?
Will I share music?
Yeah.
If I feel like it needs sharing,
Provides
I give
value.
it adds value to the great giant black ecosystem.
Bro, how many of your friends ask you to share their music?
Not
bro?
that many. Back in the day, a lot of people used to send you DMs and stuff like that to share their music. But honest conversations also had to be had. Like, I'm not going to be coerced into sharing music that I don't think is at the right level. Let's go back. Let's sit down and talk about
I
how
feel
we
that's
can
how people
improve it.
feel
And
as
I think
well.
that's the caveat.
Yeah,
Like,
that's how people feel.
What's that then?
Like,
Me telling him in private, like, you need to work a little bit more on your bars.
No, not even that, but that's how people feel like when it comes to supporting someone else's business. They can think, oh, it's not for me.
That's music though. Music, if I don't listen to that type of music, and bro, realistic, if I'm not promoting a certain type of music because it doesn't align with my lifestyle, it doesn't mean that type of music can't flourish still. Do you know what I'm saying to you? So whether or not I post it on my Instagram, I don't post stuff like that on my Instagram. I don't post stuff like that. You see my Instagram, I hardly post them type of things there. My thing's progression. So it's like, I'm not going out of my way by not posting it. If it's a thing where I post every time other people's stuff and then I don't post that music, that's being a hater. That's a different conversation. But if it's not what I do, then I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. Do you know what I'm saying to you? But we can support, like you said, in different ways. You know, if I'm spending an hour with you, 2 hours with you, writing up a plan as to where you want to go within the next 6 months, okay, that's more my thing. The types of conversations that you're going to have when you're speaking with, I don't know, record labels or people that are going to push your thing, then that's more my thing. That's more down my avenue. Supporting isn't just sharing. That's probably the easiest type of support that you could give to somebody, but you can go into it a little bit deeper and see other ways in which you can sort of, other avenues in which you can sort of explore.
no, 100%. Another thing I wanted to mention, sorry to cut you off, is the Black Business Show. I attended that last year. I think it was in Excel last year. And that was really refreshing to see just black companies, they're all exhibiting what they're doing. You can be able to walk up. There was like careers, fairs and all of these things. There was talks as well. I attended a talk that was really convicting, talking about personal brand, the importance of that, growing your value. Even asked the question, why are you not wealthy? Which I was like, ooh. So I think there's good things being done. There's really good things being done, and we just need more of these things. Like, we need to talk about these things so people know, okay, I can go to that.
Yeah,
There's support here.
absolutely.
On top of that as well, last year I did a black MBA. It's called MBA 30. It's like a 30-day MBA program for black businesses, and it's hosted by the Black Business Initiative, founded by Darren Miller. So he runs like a 30-day black business MBA to teach you like everything about you need to know for starting a business or growing your business. So that was really good, and it was at SOAS University in partnership with SOAS University. So stuff like that is amazing. So that MBA is only £500, and other businesses support the program and fund black business owners to be able to learn about business so that they can grow their business, just because of the discrimination that we face as black owners. There's a few things I wanted to share actually in terms of stats.
Yeah, now while you're going through that as well, obviously the Black Culture Market we've attended a couple of times, and I know that they really, really, really push sort of black businesses to come and showcase whatever it is that they're selling, whether it's a product, it's a service. The last one that I went to was in Brixton, and ironically is where we come across the lovely lady that done a video about sort of loving yourself and stuff like that as well. So there's so many places that you can go to search for this, but a bit like the episode on love, you have to be willing to do this. Yeah, you need to be active in terms of your search. But have you got your thing up, Dapper?
Yeah, so this is from Lloyds Bank, and it says 8 in 10 black entrepreneurs say that support from the black community is important for their current or future business. And also it says that only 13% of black business owners look to banks for financial support.